సో ఇప్పుడు నేను చేసిన దాంట్లో చాలా రిస్క్ ఉంటుంది, ఎర్రర్స్ వస్తుంటాయి. అదే ఓల్డ్ అనుకోండి ప్రతి ఎర్రర్ నాకు తెలిసింది. ఇప్పుడు ఆల్రెడీ ఐ చెక్ దిస్ వన్ కాబట్టి నాకు we not required to we are not facing any problem. We'll go cool. We will go. Anyway, I think it's done. I hope everyone. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, so Hibernate architecture, when you're trying to talk about it, anyone can tell that what exactly what we discussed? Hibernate configuration file. What exactly Hibernate configuration file is doing? Guys, what exactly Hibernate configuration file is doing?
Configuration,
Mm.
data and driver class, driver URL,
అప్పుడు ఏం
user
చెప్పారంటే
password.
అలా కాదు, configuration file contains like other configuration file having configuration details like చెప్పండి, లేదంటే configuration details like what is that class, driver class name, URL, username, password, mapping, ఇలా చెప్తే ఒక సీక్వెన్స్ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, బాగుంటుంది. ఓకే, గుడ్. Now anyway, you know that what is entity class? What is entity class?
Persistence class.
Okay, అది ఓకే. ఎంటిటీ క్లాస్ అంటే అర్థం ఏంటంటే, సో వన్స్ ఏ జావా క్లాస్ మార్క్డ్ యాజ్ ఎ రేట్ ఆఫ్ ఎంటిటీ అనటేషన్, a Java class if we annotated at the rate of entity, we can call as an entity class. Using entity class, you can map with a database table. ఇలా చెప్పొచ్చు కదా. Entity class mapped with what is entity class? Entity class and mapped with a database table, and we can mock a Java class at the rate of entity. We can call as an entity class. ఇలా చెప్పొచ్చు అమ్మా, అర్థమైందా? Is it clear my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నానంటే ఈ చిన్న చిన్న ప్రశ్నలు అడుగుతుంటారు రాని మీకు. ఇప్పటి నుంచి ఇంటర్వ్యూ క్వశ్చన్ కూడా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వండి మీరు. రైట్. సో అదర్ ఆఫ్ ఎంటిటీ మీకు కావాలని డౌట్ వస్తే ఇలా పెట్టండి కాస్తారు. దెన్ యూ కెన్ ట్రై టు లుక్ ఎట్ హియర్. క్లియర్లీ ఇట్ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్. స్పెసిఫై దట్ ద క్లాస్ ఇస్ అన్ ఎంటిటీ. చూడండి నేను చెప్పిన పాయింట్ కదా. రైట్. సో బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దిస్ యూ కెన్ ట్రై టు ఫార్మ్ ద definition. So what is the entity? Why we are trying to making this class entity? Because I want to map with the database table, because of the reason. That's it. Done. Next, let's go for client application. Right. So what are the steps it will be involved working with Hibernate application? Step 1, create a project, add the dependencies. One more time. What are the steps involved? Develop Hibernate application. Step 1, database table. Step number 2 is configuration. Create a project, add the dependencies. Step number 3. What is the next one? The configuration file. And step number 4. What is step number 4? Entity class. And entity class map with a database table and register after entity class. Next one. Mapping file. Mapping file, what exactly is doing? You're trying to mapping with entity class with database table. Next step, register entity class register with configuration file. That's it. Next one, client application. Yeah, ma. Right. Create configuration object. Create configuration object. Create configuration object. So how to configure this object? Configuration is a class. Configuration is a class. New configuration. Look at now. See, java.org.hibernate cfg package. Look at now. Configuration is a class. So what will happen here now? Let me explain with a little bit of discussion, guys. Okay, is the all configuration. So what will happen now? Configuration. Encapsulate the configuration details. Encapsulate the configuration details. Encapsulating encapsulate the Hibernate configuration details with a default value. Right. So what exactly? What is the class name? అక్కడ ఏ క్లాస్ అయితే అదమ్మా. డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ అంటే నల్ కదా, URL నల్, నెక్స్ట్ యూజర్ నేమ్ నల్, చెప్పాలి మీరు, నల్, పాస్వర్డ్ నల్, dialect null. Shiva, you are saying we are listening, but can you have any proof? Yes, I'll show you that. Look at now, CFG. What is the reference variable? CFG. This is one of the important question. Hey, can you explain what is Hibernate configuration class? Configuration class. So I can try to explain. Encaps a configuration class configure the default values of Hibernate configuration properties with default values, and otherwise encapsulate the configuration details with default values. What are the default values? Class name, username, password, like this. So what is the default value? Null. Okay, let me show you the proof, sir. Do I want proof? Yes. System.out.println cfg dot get property. You can try to mention the property name here. What is the property name? Let me see here. This is my property name. Control C, right? Before creating object, what we do? Before running this application, we will check the database table is available or not. Okay. Now let me run this, sir. Let me run this. Right. Amen. Okay. See, what is the version we are using? 5.9. What is the default value? Null. Are you clear now, everyone? Please. Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is the proof. Next. Now, so how to read the data from the configuration file then? Configuration class having one method name is called configure. Configure method by default reads configuration file hibernate.cfg.xml file. But one thing, this file is available inside the package name, inside the where package name. So what is the package name? Let's try to write like this and tie this structure. Got it? That's it. This is the way you can write. Now run it. Run as Java application. 1 minute. Our connection. Right. So relative parser. Now let's try to use now this one. Yeah. See, this is the class name. Is it clear? Everyone? Right? The first
సార్
step is
కన్సోల్ లోనే
configuration.
రన్ అవుతుందా సార్ ఇది?
అంటే ఇది SOP system.out.println we are using, right, madam? If you are using
yes, sir.
system.out.println, no doubt it will print on console itself. అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
రైట్. సో మీకు వెబ్ లో కావాలనుకుంటే మళ్ళీ సెలెక్ట్ చేసి ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేయాలి. చదువు కానీ ఫస్ట్ ఇది ఒకటి అయిపోతే దెన్ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ ఐ టెల్ యూ దెన్ ఇంటిగ్రేట్ ఇట్. అదే టాస్క్ మీకు పొద్దున. రైట్. నెక్స్ట్ See, this is clear. Now, what is the next step? Build a session factory. Okay. Step number 2. Build session factory. Session factory is an interface. It's having a capability to create a session factory object. The factory object representing set of connections. I'll show you the practically. Look at now first. Session factory is one interface. Done. CFG dot build a session factory like this. Now, good. Now let's try to run it. Run as Java application. మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేయాలమ్మా ఇక్కడ see ఇది వదిలేయండి. This error is remove it. Okay, let me remove this error first. Configuration లో just name Java naming directory interface. We are not creating that. So there is name is representing J&A part. Let's remove it and run it once again.
సో అక్కడ సీజే ఇవ్వలేదు సార్ మీరు.
ఇంకా దాని right. See, this is the way. What's happening here now? Session factory object, what exactly creating doing? Look at now. Loading a class, right? Now, auto commit mode is false. Look at connection pool. Other than that, connection pool, set of connection objects will be created. Other than namakra session factory. Let me write in the diagram. So session factory object will be created here. Factory object. What exactly is happening now? Session factory object. Like this. So session factory object. Session factory is an object. This object configuration dot cfg dot build a session factory. When we are using like this, session factory object will be created. Then and here set of connection objects here now. So how many objects will be created? I told just now showing you then 20 objects. Other by default, representing one set of one connection pooling concept introduced. That's what I told you very clearly. Is a great capability of Hibernate. Okay, so connection, 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 connection. I hope you understand now. Like this, n number of connections will be created. Just now you've seen that practically, ma'am. I'm not saying anything. Just even you can observe it. When you are trying to designing, don't go for direct blind designing. Just understand the theme. First application understand very clearly. Done. So then factory representing a set of connection objects. Okay, done.
సార్ కనెక్షన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ అ సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్టా సార్?
Yes, you are right. Now, look at now. చూడండి need you on the next step. The main contract here is creation of session instance. Look at now, session instances. Got it? Right. Next, step number 4. Build session factor. Next, Amma, please. Yeah, obtain a session. Create a session object. Otherwise, how to create object? Then using session factor reference variable. Okay. Factory dot open session. Now we are trying to open the session. Right. Good. Now session. Look at now the main runtime interface between and Hibernate. Session object. Right. 1 minute, sir. Yeah. Session object. Right. Session object. Is it clear? Now, this is the way. Are you clear now, please? So, session factory is it create a session object. Create a session object. This is the way. Is it clear, everyone, till now, please? Yes. How many session objects we can create? Only one session object, guys. Next. Sorry, you can create n number of session objects, but only entire application we're having only one session factory. Got it? Next. Step build now transaction. Every session, let's try to start a transaction, begin the transaction, especially when you are trying to working, non-select operation ante insertion, updation, deletion. These are the operations when you're performing. It's a mandatory to run a transaction on top of session. Okay, till now is clear. Step number 5. Focus. Persistent operation. Persistent operations. Please. Persistent operation. Now let's focus, guys. See, first step, our persistent operation we can try to classify 2 times. One is what one is? Persistent operation we can classify 2 times. One is first one, please tell me.
Select queries, non-select
No,
queries.
no, single row operations. అక్కడ వేరే అమ్మ ఇక్కడ సింగిల్ రో ఆపరేషన్స్ అండ్ బల్క్ ఆపరేషన్. ఇవి మనం నెక్స్ట్ 2-3 days మనం డిస్కస్ చేయబోయేదే. రైట్, సింగిల్ రో ఆపరేషన్ అండ్ బల్క్ ఆపరేషన్. Right. So single row operation and bulk operation. Single row operation means that the single row and only one row we can try to insert the data in the database. Bulk operation we can try to perform more than one record boss. Right. First we'll focus single row operation. How to perform save method. Right. Like this. And persist method. But save method returns generated ID. I can say serializable, right? Persist method, what exactly is returning? Right. Why persist persist method, save method, persist method, right? Save method, persist method, save method, persist method. Next. Persist method. What is the next one, please? Right. Update method. Okay. Save or update method. ఏముండదండి ఈ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అన్ని కూడా ఎంటిటీ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అండి. రైట్, వైడ్. నెక్స్ట్ మెర్జ్ మెథడ్, మెర్జ్, దెన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. సో what exactly merge all these methods will do, we'll see one by one. Merge method. ఇక్కడ ఏమర్థం మెర్జ్ మెథడ్ చెప్పండి. వైడా, సారీ, ఆబ్జెక్ట్. Fit. Next. So next, retrieve, get method, entity class ID, serializable ID. Okay, I'll change its methods. Okay, load syntax cut రావట్లేదు, but entity class, then integer ID, nothing but I can say serializable ID. So this is the way get and load generally we try to use for retrieving purpose, madam. That's it. So bulk operation, it means that we can perform HQL. Next, native SQL. Next, criteria API. Right. Are you clear? Practically, boss. I want to store in the database. Okay. when you are trying to storing, madam, the transient object, ante, for example, let me start then one by one. First, right? Student entity, new student entity. So what will happen now here? Entity class object is creating was. So when you are trying to creating this object, you can try to call transition state. Then you want technical transition state. And when you are trying to creating object of entity class, we can call technical name what? Transition state is one of the important question, guys. Right. Transient, right? Transient state like this. So what will happen? Object creation time. Come on, guys. Object creation time. Student number, student address. Default value 0, null, you know, right? Okay. Now let me try to set it. Okay, 10. Auto increment పెట్టండి తర్వాత దాని పెడదాం ఇప్పుడు వదిలే ఓకే సెట్ స్ట్రింగ్ నేమ్ రాణి అడ్రస్ ఏం చేద్దామా హైదరాబాద్ then so this is the way we can try to fill the data, madam. Got it? Then Rani Hyderabad. So now I want to move the entity object to inside the session. We can try to call this is called transition state. Next. Now session dot save method. Look at now save method object only, right? Okay. STUEN. That's it, ma. Then what is happening now? This is called persistent state, madam. Transition state to persistent state. Okay. Now your SB, this one is moving to here. Which one? Student entity object. Maybe. Okay. Then as usual, the data will come, sir. I can't write use data, then I'll write it like this simple. Okay. Are you understand, please? Yes. Then here 100 is a primary key, sir, which one of the property trying to make as a primary key in the Hibernate environment. One of these properties, it makes as a primary key in Hibernate environment. How it's possible? Because of at the rate of ID annotation. Already we did, right? ID annotation. Are you clear now? The data will be stored in the database? No. Then transaction dot commit. Once we use a commit, the data will be stored in the database. In the application. Are you understand, please? Yes. So then it move session, this one, transition state to persistent state because of session method. Are you clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. STUENT. Then this is called what? Persistent state. So this is one of the important question, guys. What are the states it will be involved? What are the states it will be involved processing of entity object? 3 states. One is transition state, persistent state. Next one, detached state. Now I'm not running, sir. I'll run later. So detached is a transaction that commit when we are using, no doubt, the data will be stored in the database. This is my database software. Are you clear? Right. Transaction dot commit. If you not commit, the data will not be stored, sir. No doubt about it. Because same way trying to moving here, but when we try to talk about it, same way trying to storing the data in the database, we'll try to say like this. Are you clear? Yes. Now, so this is called transient state. Sorry, persistent state moving. But now I want to work with the detached state. Detached, it means that two operations you can try to perform. If you close a session, if I close a session, the session object will be destroyed. If I close a session, session object will be destroyed. Is it clear point? Okay. Next point. What is the next point? Otherwise, you can use evict method. It's one of the important question in the interview, guys. Session dot evict. By using evict method, I can say like this. So what will happen? Evict method. Evict method get the object, get the entity object from the session, get the entity object from the session, get object from the session. This is called evict method. It's called evict method, EVICT, evict method like this. Session dot evict method, session dot evict method, session dot evict method. Is it clear? Session dot evict method, EVICT evict method. Are you understand, guys, please? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what will happen in this case? This object get from session, getting from session like this. Just writing like this. This one we can call technically detached state. What state, guys? It is detached state. Right. Now, even you can try to use session dot close. So using session dot close, what will happen? The session object will be closed. Before using evict method, if I use session dot close, or along with the object will be closed. That is comes under detached state only. I hope you understand, guys, everyone. Yes. Guys, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Now,
sir.
can I do it? Yes. వద్దంటే అవుతావా కానీ right. Good. Now, here you can try to write ma. Yeah, session dot contains, because I want to check that is there or not. After using evict method, again it's working or not. I want to know yes or no. Right, like this. Yes, here it comes like a true, no doubt. Here it comes like a false. Yes. Session dot close. Session dot close. We are closing a session. Then if you want, you can try to close factory dot close. I hope yes, once we open and we did and we close it. Are you understand, everyone, please? Yes. Good. This is the way you can try to play the operation, guys. Nothing is there. Okay, let me check in the database, ma'am. First of all, student table is there or not before running. If it's not available, if you run, no use of this. Understand? Okay, here we maintain the relationship. Let me try to remove it. First, I'll remove parent class. Right. Okay, first let me try to child. Now I can remove this, drop it. Now I want to create table. Table name. Right. Good. Student number, primary key. Student name. మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారండి even we are not writing any SQL query. Are you observed? Are you written, guys, anywhere? No. It's a Java statement only, right? Just a normal save method. It will take care of itself. Dialect having a capability. Dialect having a capability converting Java object to SQL format, madam. Are you understand? Sir, I want to see that how it convert. Okay. If you want to see, let's try to use show SQL. Yes, obviously, I want to see that how it works internally. Format SQL. SQL query, I want to see the format. Meaning is, if you want to use SQL comments. So that's what I told you. Then do 3 application, guys. Why? If you do 3 application like this, you will automatically the speed will come here. Now let me run it. Good. Look at now. See, SQL query generated. True, false. Perfectly is working. Agree with me, guys, please. చూడండి అమ్మా, ఇక్కడ చూడండి, క్లీనింగ్ అప్ కనెక్షన్ పోల్ క్లోజ్ చేసింది స్కీమ్ అని, అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now your application is completed. Let's check that once again, please. Is there or not? Right. So this is the way you can try to work it. Can you write in your system, ma'am? Nothing yet, Rastara? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
సార్
Right,
సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ 20 ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసేది కదా సార్. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎవిక్ట్ చేసి ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డిలీట్ చేసాం, మనం ఇప్పుడు 99 మనకు తెలిసిపోతుంది కదా సార్.
కొడతామమ్మా.
Hmm?
ఈ వీక్ మీద ఎందుకు కొడతాం మనం?
ఆబ్జెక్ట్ దాంట్లో సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ నుంచి ఎవిక్ట్ చేయడానికి.
తప్పు. Evict anyone. Evict method why we are using, please?
Getting the object from session.
Session. Adi. Get the object from session amma.
అంటే అది సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ నుంచి డిలీట్ అవ్వట్లేదు.
Delete కాదు. సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ సంబంధం ఏముందా మనకి? సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ సంబంధమే లేదు. దాన్ని దీన్ని కలపకండి మీరు. Getting the entity object from session. So evict method. That's it. Got it? సో మీకు అందుకే ప్రూఫ్ కోసం అని ఇది రాసే మీరు ఇది గమనించలేదు, ఉందా లేదా చెక్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఫాల్స్. గాట్ ఇట్? అండ్ సి సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీకి నో వే రిలేటెడ్ దిస్ ఎవిక్ట్ మెథడ్. ఎవిక్ట్ మెథడ్ థింక్స్ అబౌట్ ఓన్లీ దిస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, డజంట్ కేర్ అబౌట్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ అండ్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. దట్ ఈస్ కనెక్షన్ పుల్లింగ్. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ వన్స్ యూ క్లోజ్ ఇట్ దెన్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ విల్ బి గాన్. రైట్ మేడం? క్లోజ్ చేసావు కదమ్మా, అర్థమైందా? 11. So 11. Okay. Now I run it. Look at now. ఏమైంది ఇక్కడ? సెషన్ క్లోజ్ అయ్యింది అంతే. అప్పట్లో సెషన్ క్లోజ్ అయిపోయింది. రైట్? గాట్ ఇట్?
ఎస్ సార్. ఈ సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో ఇంకొకటి మనం యాడ్ చేసుకోలేము సార్. ఓన్లీ ఒక్కటే సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, ఒక్కటే
సెషన్
ఎంటిటీ క్లాస్ కి.
సరే అర్థం కాదు, మరి చెప్పు. సారీ.
ఒక ఎంటిటీ క్లాస్ కి ఒకే సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్
లేదు, ఓన్లీ వన్ సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ. యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ n నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ సెషన్స్, నో ఇష్యూస్.
ఆహా, నేను చెప్పేది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ సార్. ఒక సెషన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఒక ఎంటిటీ క్లాస్. అలాగా మన
Yeah.
సెషన్ ఫ్యాక్టరీలో ఎన్నైనా ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
ఎస్ యూ కెన్. సరే ఫస్ట్ అప్లికేషన్ రాయండమ్మా, స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్. రాస్తారా? కంటిన్యూ చేయనా? రాయండమ్మా, నేను కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతాను మళ్ళీ. ఇంకేం ఉండదు. ఇది మారదమ్మా, ఈ స్టెప్స్ మారవు. ప్రతి అప్లికేషన్ ఇంతే. ఇంకా ఈ స్టెప్స్ మారవు. మారేదల్లా ఈ ఒక్క లైన్ మాత్రమే, 1 or 2 లైన్స్ మాత్రమే. ఇంకా ఫాస్ట్గా అయిపోద్ది ఇక్కడ నుంచి. వన్స్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్, నథింగ్ ఇస్ దట్ నెక్స్ట్. ప్లీజ్ రైట్ ఇట్. రాసేటప్పుడు గమనించుకుని రాయండి, ఊని రాయబాకండి. రైట్? ఐ అండర్స్టాండ్ మై పాయింట్ ప్లీజ్.
Yes, sir.
సంతోష్, పొద్దున ఏమైనా చేసావమ్మా?
లేదు సార్, యాక్చువల్ ఈరోజు ఫంక్షన్ ఉండే ఇంట్లో, ఇంటికి వచ్చాను.
రోజు ఒకటి చెప్పాకు.
లేదు సార్, నిన్ననే ఇంటికి వచ్చాను నైట్. రేపు చేసేస్తాను సార్, రేపు.
సార్ యాప్ క్లాస్ ఎక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్నారు సార్ మీరు? జావా దాంట్లోనే కదా?
జావాలో ఉంటుందమ్మా, దీంట్లో ఉంటుంది చూడండి. కామ్రేడ్స్ ఐటీలో ట్యాబ్లెట్ జావా ఉంటుంది.
ఎస్ సార్. నేను టెస్ట్ లో చూస్తున్నాను, అక్కడ ఉంది సార్.
One more point I mentioned, madam. You remember or not? If I have any change in the database, the changes should be reflect on your application development. If you have any changes here, the changes will be reflect on your application level. Yes or no? Right. Let me show you the practicalism. Now, meanwhile, I want to suspend some thread. 10,000 milliseconds. Red dot sleep. 10,000 milliseconds. Now what we can do now here, please tell me. After sleep method, 10,000 milliseconds will be suspended with your application. Meanwhile, I'm updating in the database. After updating, I want to see that the data is reflected or not here. Can we check one more time, please? Yes. Good. Let me first. Okay. Here. Let me run this. Let me run it fast. Yeah. That work out, guys. Run as the application. Now, session dot refresh method. What you're refreshing? Object. Which object? Like this. Okay. Now run it. Perfect. Wait. USA. Passed it out and all. Can I increase the sleep here? 38,000. Okay. But now I have to reflect. Because still is waiting 39 milliseconds, right? 3 seconds. See red mark. It is not affecting. Somewhere is missing, ma'am. Actually, don't worry about it. Me try చేయండి వస్తుంది. Reflect అయింది. Right. Refresh method when you are using, just refresh, ma'am. Now, okay, let's try to do this one. So if I want to change here, sir. Yeah. Where you want to change? Here. Session dot stu dot address. Right. I'll try to write like Pakistan. So here, when we are using like this, then you can use transaction dot commit. Otherwise, you can try to use session because we are trying to performing updates in the database, non-static operations. In this case, we can use transaction dot commit. Okay. Then after this, again, we are fetching the data. Let me run it. Yeah. Look at now. Perfect or not, guys? Yes. Now we can check the database. This is what I mentioned. Is it clear? If you have any changes in the object level, the object level means the object inside, the changes will be reflected in the database table. Yes. To see then, save or update and match method. Once I explain these two concepts, we'll start HQL, Hibernate Query Language. So Hibernate Query Language level, we can work with bulk operation. More than one record we can try to insert. More than one record we can retrieve it. More than one record we can delete it. But in this context, only we can perform single row operation. Only one record we can insert, only one record we can retrieve, only one record we can delete it. So this is the context. Are you clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do these two operations, guys. Shall we meet in